Hi, I'm John Spohr, and this is your Franklin County Beach Report for June 21st, 2010. And today it's my pleasure to tell you that all the beaches of Franklin County, Alligator Point, Carabel, St. George Island are unaffected and open for business. Our fishing, there have been no closures, and the fishing, from what I understand, just couldn't be better. Now, one of the questions that we get a lot from people is, how is our local seafood doing? And today we're standing, well, almost right in the middle of Apalachicola Bay, where our seafood comes from, and I've got as my special guest today Mr. Mike Keller from a great restaurant called That Place Off 98, where a lot of that seafood ends up. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Oh, absolutely, John. My pleasure.
Now, Mike, as I said, one of the questions that we get is people worried about the availability of seafood. Tell us about that from a restaurant point of view.
Well, availability is, we have as much grouper as we can possibly need. The shrimp this year are as pretty as I've ever seen them. And the oysters, for being a summer oyster, for some reason the oysters are better this year. They opened up the beds a little earlier, and I'm selling more oysters, shrimp, and grouper than I've ever sold, and the oysters are dynamite.
Now, Mike, also they've opened the scalloping season for recreational harvest early, and normally that wouldn't be open to July, but that's open now. Does that build a lot of interest in the scallops?
Absolutely. We're selling scallops. We normally don't sell scallops till August or September, but having the bay open early, we're able to get nice fresh scallops, and we're running daily specials with scallops that we normally don't do at this time of year.
Now, Mike, what are the people that come in? Do they seem surprised that there's so much local seafood because of the national news about the tragedy in Louisiana? Do they seem surprised about that, and they have to be happy?
They're really pleased. You know, I've gotten a lot of questions if we are being able to get local seafood, and we are, and they're ecstatic that we can still get local seafood, and especially since we can still get those wonderful Apalachicola Bay oysters.
Mike, as you said, the seasons in Apalachicola Bay vary, but now the summer season has opened early, and you think that that is probably one of the reasons why that the oysters at this time are so plump and salty?
I think so. You know, they're as big as I've ever seen them this year, and they're not too big. Sometimes you can get an oyster too big, and I've always thought if it doesn't fit on a cracker, it's too big. But the size we're getting right now are absolutely perfect for shucking and also bacon, and we're just getting rave reviews about the oysters this year.
Mike, I want to keep on the oysters for just a minute, because in almost all of our reports we've talked about just how wonderful the weather has been this spring, and today's the first day of summer, and we actually have some kind of a cloud cover, but we haven't had much rain, and generally that makes for a much saltier oyster.
It does. What happens is if you get a whole lot of rain down here, and even a little bit farther north, you get all that fresh water coming into the bay, and we haven't had as much fresh water now that we normally do this time of year, so we're getting a little more salt in the bay, so it's making the oysters a little on the salty side, which I think is the best tasting oyster, when they're a little salty.
Mike, I'm sure everybody's happy to hear that, so I tell you what, why don't you go ahead and invite our viewers down to come down and share some of that fresh Apalachicola seafood.
Yeah, please come see us at That Place Off 98. We are located next to the Dixie Theater in downtown Apalachicola, and we're open Monday through Saturday from 11 till 9 or 9:30.
Come on down, we'll see you in one of our great restaurants, and personally, I'll see you on the beach.
For more information about Franklin County beaches and other amenities, visit the Franklin County Tourist Development Council's website at anaturalescape.com or call 866-914-2068. For more video updates, visit ForgottenCoastTV.com or find us on Facebook by searching Forgotten Coast TV.